Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to do the relations between men and women by Rajaram Mohan Roy. Right? So, first we'll read the note of the author. Right? About the author, Rajaram Mohan Roy, May 22nd, 1772 to 27 September 1833, was an Indian socio-educational reformer who was also known as maker of modern India and father of modern India and father of the Bengal Renaissance. Right? So, first, he was an Indian socio-educational reformer. Socio means society. So, social means society, to do with society. And he was also an educational reformer. What is the main reform he brought out in the field of education? Up to the time of Rajaram Mohan Roy, traditional subjects were taught in Indian schools. Traditional subjects means the Vedas, the Upanishads, the whatever you find, whatever is there about, ancient Indian literature. Right? The Rig Veda, the Atharva Veda, the Sam Veda, the Yajur Veda, Ayurveda, all these were taught in the schools at that time. Right? But once the British entered India, they brought with them the facts of science. They brought with them science. Now, science is a modern subject, right? Whereas if you look at, the ancient texts like the Vedas, they say God is the reason for everything, and these are aspects of God, right? These are the aspects of Indra, these are the aspects of Varuna, these are the aspects of Agni, right? Whereas science, what was it doing? About that time, maybe the Industrial Revolution was taking place in England. The steam engine, the factories were coming into being. Those were products of science. And what did the factories do? They produced cloth. Right? Huge mills produced cloth. The steam engine made travel a simple affair. So they saw the value of science. And Rajaram Mohan Roy, among others, felt, it's all very well to understand and to experience, the facts about, the fire god and the wind god and so on and so forth. Why all of them. But, now we have to embrace this culture, this literature, this body of knowledge, this field of science. We have to adapt to it. So it's thought to it that English was introduced into the schools. Right? So he was a socio-educational reformer who was also known as the maker of modern India. See, what we are studying right now, English, was because of Rajaram Mohan Roy's introduction of English into the syllabi of Indian educational institutions. Right? He is a maker of modern India, the father of modern India, right? And the father of the Bengal Renaissance. This word needs to be dealt with. Renaissance. See, Renaissance means rebirth. Up to the time of Rajaram Mohan Roy, the same old thing was taught again and again for generations, hundreds of years, Vedas. But once he came, the mind was renewed. The mind of the people was renewed. They saw these are the possibilities that we have to control our lives. We can introduce a lot of comforts with science. Right? So the Bengal Renaissance. Right? Okay? So the Bengal Renaissance. Okay? Then, he lived during one of India's darkest social phases. Darkest, see, age-old traditions like sati, where the wife has to climb on the funeral pyre of the husband so that, she doesn't become impure. This bond of marriage is sanctified even until death. Right? See, he lived during one of India's darkest social phases. He introduced widow remarriage, but strived to his best to make his motherland a better place for the future generations to come. Right? As a result of which, whatever we're wearing, our clothes, whatever we're traveling in, the vehicles, whatever we eat, the food, because of science, the green revolution, etc., because of the introduction of science, what has happened? Our motherland has become a better place for future generation. For his future, that's us. For us, it has become a better place. Right? Yes? Okay. Born into a prosperous Brahmin family of Bengal. Prosperous, right? Well, landed. Right? Prosperous family, Brahmin family of Bengal. He challenged, right? Born into a prosperous Brahmin family of Bengal. He challenged the traditional Hindu culture, and unorthodox religious ideas at a very young age. Was against the establishment from a very young age. A multilingual and a visionary. Multilingual means he knew many languages. Right? And a visionary. Visionary is he had an idea of the future. And he wanted to combine the righteousness of Western and Indian culture. Righteousness means what is right, what is good. What is good is essentially what is healthy. Healthy means our physiology, the physiology of our body, digestion, all that, is affected by our actions. If we do good actions, if we have good thoughts, the physiology is slowed down. On the other hand, you continuously indulging in negative things. After a certain age, your physiology can keep up to it to a certain age. After a certain age, right, it will work against you. Right? So anyway, you see, he wanted to combine the righteousness of Western and Indian culture. Right? He was against traditional Hindu practices. Okay, and echoed his voice against sati system. Polygamy. Polygamy is, polygamy. Polyandry. There are two systems of marriage. Andros means man. Polyandry means one woman has many husbands. That's polyandry. Polygamy. Gamos is women. Many. Poly is many. Many women. You can marry many women. Polygamy. Okay? Caste rigidity. Age-old system of caste. Right? And child marriage. So, why did they have child marriage? Once you come of age, once a boy comes of age, the first instinct is that. So sanctified. Have child marriage. The girl has to be younger than the boy. Child marriage. In fact, I'll tell you a fact. My own grandmother was married that was in maybe 1890 something like that. Not 18, 1920 like that. See? And child marriage. He also wanted to modernize the education system, which he did actually. He was studying English now. Right? He also wanted to modernize the education system and set up a lot of English medium schools. Right? An extract from his writing taken from Ramchandra Guha's Makers of Modern India. So Ramchandra Guha is a living legend. He's one of the historians of India. Right? Ramchandra Ghosh, maker of modern India, throws light on the abominable practices like sati, caste system, and gender discrimination. Okay? Throws light. Abominable practices. Abominable is hateful. People actually can't bear, should not be able to bear the wife walking up to the funeral pyre and climbing onto it with her hands folded in namaste. That's inhuman. Abominable processes like sati, caste system also, and gender discrimination. Right? Women, so now we come to the actual lesson. Right? Women are in general inferior to men in bodily strength and energy. Start off with a general statement. Women are in general inferior to men in what? In one particular thing, it is in their bodily strength and energy. Consequently, the male part of the community taking advantage of their corporeal weakness. Corporeal is physical. See, you have the mind, you have the intellect, you have the emotions, you have the physique. Out of this, which is the stronger? The body. Right? You can have very subtle thoughts. Okay? You can be very intellectually, very varied in your mind. Right? And your emotions can be refined to a very high pitch. Right? But once the general comes into the town with his army, what will they do? These are words of fact. Intellectuality versus, war. It's happened many times. Right? So, you see, this is the situation as it was. Okay. Women are is present tense. See, it's a fact. Women are in general inferior to men in bodily strength and energy. Consequently, as a result of this, the male part of the community, taking advantage of their corporeal weakness, have denied, present perfect tense, have denied. Have shows relevance to the present. Deny is a verb. It's in the past participle. They have been denied what? Those excellent merits that they're entitled to by nature. By nature, but the nature of woman is more refined. For example, virtue, goodness, all these things are essentially feminine. Feminine character. Even if you say the quality of education family received, it's because of the matriarch. It can be the grandmother, it can be the mother, or it can be the aunt. Hardly ever you will find the father doing education. Right? So you see, they have been denied what? Those excellent merits they are entitled to by nature. Okay? And afterwards, they are apt. They may. Are apt means they may say that women are naturally incapable of acquiring those merits. They refers to the men. Once they subdue them, once they suppress them, they'll say they're incapable, naturally incapable of acquiring those merits. This is a situation. All of this is in present tense. It may have been so in the time of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. That's what we're told. And it's relevant today mainly because of what? The present tense used in the sentence. Have denied, are at, are in general inferior. Means what? To you. So what? You recognize that you have excellent merits entitled to by nature. Whatever excellent merits you may think of. Okay? And Once they're suppressed, if, that if, conditional, they'll say, what's the problem? You have acquired those. Right? But if we give the subject consideration, now here we come to the, what are we talking about? We're talking about women's rights. Right? Okay, nowadays it's feminism, feminine equality, all the same. It's not so. See, the very first sentence denies equality. They are what? Corporeal, that is physically they are weaker. That will never change. Unless you have, one or two bodybuilders, which, right? Equality is what? You can prove it. But the very first sentence proves it, right? Okay. So now we're talking about women's rights, I think. But if we give the subject consideration, we may easily ascertain whether or not your accusation against them is consistent with justice. Your accusation. Whose accusation? The men's accusation against them. See, look at this. Causing this problem, causing that problem. This is the woman is the reason. Right? Your accusation on them is consistent with justice. Again, we have to look at the psychology of the women. Women, by nature, they are, one thinker says, they're like, birds, cats, okay? At best, they're like cows, right? That's what one thinker says. I can show you the quote. The very same thinker says, women have a part of the nature which is wants revenge, right? In fact, he says, men may be evil. Men may be merely evil. But woman is, I say something about women, okay? It's a between, they slowly take the life out of you. It's part of feminine psychology. So, because of all these reasons, right? Women have been suppressed. Okay? Because of their nature. You must also recognize that. So it's not actually as though everything is affection, everything is... Because up to a certain point, giving affection and love works. Once it comes to doing the duties, then you need some strength, which love cannot. Love means, okay, fine, you do it, no problem. I'll take care of it later. Do everything, and relax. That's love. You give it, okay? Women, the nature is to demand that affection. You do everything, fine. Right? Same time, you do something wrong, say something wrong. And, the whole business of marital discord comes in. Right? So these, why they have a good reason. Whoever did this, did what? Did this. Right? Okay. So, now, but if we give the subject consideration, right? We given the subject some consideration, we may easily ascertain, we may easily find out, ascertain means to find out, whether or not your accusation against them is consistent with justice. See, if you take it to the extent of you must perform sati, then it's of course injustice. That is what is visible at that time. But nowadays it's not like that. But nevertheless, maybe, there were exceptions. Right? Not all women committed sati. But that was a visible, glaring fact. So it says, is it justice to treat women like this? Right? As to their inferiority in point of understanding. Now here we must know a sort of demur. Demur means you must agree with hesitate. As to their inferiority in point of understanding. Are they incapable of understanding all these facts about the spirituality of For example, Shiva. No. Are they capable of understanding? Look out the window. You see that shine. Is it not bright? Is it not what? What is the word? Is it not glowing? Is it not cheery? Is it not like sun shining? Is it not like God is looking down on the aspect of God is spiritual? Are they capable of understanding? No. As to their inferiority in point of understanding, when did you ever afford a fair opportunity of exhibiting their natural capacity? Right? Natural capacity can be seen once, especially when the upbringing of their children. No compromises on such things. Right? But here also there must be circumspection exercised. See, when a child learns, it's mother tongue. What it learns from his mother, the way to speak. It is the mother tongue. Everybody can speak. What about the father tongue? That which is given by your father. Father's love is true love. You think the father will say, chalta hai? No, he'll just, play a musical instrument. Whether he educates you or not is different. Just plays the musical instrument, right? You understand? Isn't it? The father tongue. How will you learn the father tongue? You have to be born again to realize the father tongue. Born again. You die within this life and you are born again. You come out of the ashes to learn the father tongue. Mother tongue, we learn it of our mothers like the brutes. Mother says, this comforting, caring. See? Education. Very fine line, right? So, did we ever afford them a fair opportunity of exhibiting their natural capacity? Yes, nowadays we have. See what Rajanath Mohan Roy brought about in those days. The question of women's equality. Nowadays, most of the Montessori teachers are women. Most of the children come into contact with are women. Montessori teachers. Right? And if you look at the majority of women teaching in schools, not in colleges, maybe also in colleges.
Yeah, women.
See, that's what, see. Have we, at that time he's asking the question. Now, when it is said, when did, see the past tense is used, when did you ever afford them a fair opportunity of exhibiting their natural capacity? At that time, have you done it now? He's asking now. But because of that question, now, the natural capacities are being showcased, right? How then can you exhibit the natural capacity? How then can you exhibit? Can, it's a modal auxiliary. Can is a modal, doesn't have tense. You could have asked it then, you could ask it now. Future, his future. How then can you exhibit the natural capacity? Okay, how then can you accuse them of want of understanding? How then can you accuse them of want of understanding? You can, again, modal auxiliary. You asked it then, it's irrelevant now, doesn't have a tense. If after instruction in knowledge and wisdom, a person cannot comprehend or retain what has been taught him, we may consider him as deficient. Right? So you see, now he's using the masculine pronoun. He's not using the feminine pronoun. He's using the masculine pronoun. What is that? If after instruction in knowledge and we see a child, a male child, boy. If after instruction in knowledge and wisdom, a person, that's a common gender, cannot comprehend or retain what has been taught him now it comes to the masculine. Right? We may consider him, again masculine, as deficient. Okay, bypassing them, him, her, right? As deficient. But as you keep women generally void of education, see? Void means empty. You don't give education to them, right? As you keep women generally void of education and acquirements also. Nowadays it's different, you have CEOs of global multinationals, so sales run into billions, trillions of dollars, PepsiCo, right? And acquirements. You cannot therefore in justice pronounce on their inferiority. Now it becomes a common gender, their inferiority. First it was him, now it becomes their. Their means it can be a male or a female child. If you instruct a female child, that's how we are led to believe from the previous sentence, right? If we instruct a female child, you are giving the female child, then you come to the message, him, then you come there. Good book. Okay, you follow it. Secondly, you charge them with want of resolution. You is the man. You charge them with want of resolution. You are not resolved, you are not decided. They are unable to make up their minds. Their minds are always on fine things. They want shiny clothes, they want shiny things to wear. They want to do something else. Look attractive you charge them with want of resolution, at which I feel exceedingly surprised. See? At which I feel exceedingly surprised. Present tense, I feel exceedingly. But for we constantly perceive in a country where the name of death makes the male shudder, the female from a firmness of mind offers to burn the corpse of a deceased husband. See, the thought of death makes the male shudder. Shudder means it trembles, the thought of death. Trembles, he's afraid to fight. In that time, they didn't fight with the people. But that's different. See, the name of death makes the male shudder. That the female, what does the female do? From her firmness of mind, makes up her mind, right? So is described as firmness of mind. Or it could be a state of resignation. If I don't go on the fire, everybody else will push me, I have no option. Right? Which is described as firmness of mind. Offers to burn with the corpse of a husband. She's talking to those people then. Offers. Right? Yet you accuse those women of deficiency in point of resolution. Yet you, that is a male, yet they accuse them, the women, of deficiency, lack of want of resolution. You say they are unreasonable, you say they are undecided, you say they do this. But look at that, look at this fact. This glaring fact, they are ready to climb on the finger fire. Yeah? Okay, anyway, see. Okay? So we'll stop there. Okay? Thank you.